All right, Chico, we're doing it again. But before we do it again, I think we got to pull back for a moment and look at the why of why we're doing it and why we did it and why we're doing it again. Why we did it initially, in my mind, was to get national attention on Chico for its music scene. And for a brief moment, I mentioned on the Bob and Tom show some regional interest. We really made a splash with Chico Breaks the Record. And the thing is that 34, nearly 35 day experience, I think is something that, affected a lot of us a great deal. Certainly changed my life forever and was its own thing. Going into it, I think that Guinness didn't think we were going to do it, and so didn't give it the attention the attempt deserved or needed. And at the same time, we trusted a little bit too much. So with this second attempt, what we're trying to do is establish ourselves as the authority, so that no matter what Guinness says, though, we are still going to follow the rules and we are still going to go for their record and apply to them and do that. No matter what they say, we know we did it, and we have plenty, an overabundance of evidence to suggest that fact. During Chico Breaks the Record, it went for 35 days. At times we were running off this video system, then that one, then this one. And then please refer to the witness paperwork. Then here's some cell phone footage, and there's a thread of evidence through all that. But it's clearly something that Guinness had no interest in finding. As I've said before, they opened the box after 20 weeks and said, nah, we closed it. So this time we have a better framework in place. We've done all the hard work. We've dug deep in the community. We've seen that there's public interest. At this time last year, I was still trying to convince people it would happen and that it could be successful. And up until the day it began, I didn't know. I mean, I had hoped, and the truth is it turned out 10 times more successful than I'd hoped or planned for. In fact, the degree of success made it such a challenge to police things on such a finite level as clearly, we were kind of expected or wanted to be doing. So we're doing it again. We want to show that we can do it 100% by their book in addition to our own, and we're gonna change the way we're doing it as well. So, for instance, the biggest change we're gonna do this time around for you guys as performers and music lovers is that every act is gonna get paid this time. Last time it was, let's see if we can make this work, grassroots community effort, and the venue and through sponsors, and basically there was money going around. It was a profitable venture, and that is how you make something successful, be it alternative energy or any grassroots movement. If you can show that a profit can be made at it, good things can happen. So this time around, we're going to keep diligent record of everything, absolutely everything, including to the minute how long people have performed. And when all is said and done, from a little bit of sponsor money, from a little bit of door money, from a little bit of this money, that money, we're going to pool together money for the artists, and at the end of the event, divvy that money up based on amount of time performed. Okay, so if by the end of the 2 weeks somebody's put in 12 total hours, they're going to get a bigger share of that final kitty than somebody that put in 2. And that means, of course, in the middle of the night, somebody who's played from 3 to 5 is going to make as much in the AM as somebody that played, or an act that played from 2 to 4. Let's be clear, it's not per person, it's the act that gets paid. So we don't know what that's going to be like yet, but we're going to build a framework well ahead of time to have that in place, because the whole point, again, get national exposure for our music scene, so that we can create music in the town that we love and that inspires us, and see success with that. Rather than having to go out of town, let's get them to come here. So to that effect, there are some new needs that we didn't have last year that I'm going to be posting and sharing about, and hopefully we can source the community for. We have some of the same needs as before, but it is going to look different this time. It has to. It's, I think, a disservice to our freshman year to try to repeat it in our sophomore year. Let's turn it up a notch. Let's make this more professional. We're gonna stream this thing online and try to get as much PR. We're gonna push the press PR end of this so much more than we ever have. So let's get that online, get that interest going, and really let the world see and let the world watch. Because say, hey, we already did twice as much last year. Here's our press release. We've proven it. Now watch the show, tune in, watch Chico in concert, and really get it out there, and set Chico up as an example of how to do it, and then how to do it every year. This is the kind of thing that maybe some people aren't going to get behind, that they don't want something so routine, and the thing is, it'll always be different. And historically, this particular record, AJ O'Neill has broken it 3 times. And he broke it yearly when he did it. He had a thing called the Assembly Line Concert at his coffee house, AJ's Music Cafe in Ferndale, Michigan. And every spring they just broke it again. It didn't matter who broke it in the meantime. They're like, oh, somebody broke it? That's cool. We'll break it by 12 hours next time. You know, now that we're only going 16 days, this is a record we're going to have to defend. So right now, the Chico community is the world's foremost expert on getting this done, like actually physically doing it. Okay, so now, you know, we condense, we make a tight 2-week concert, a little over 2 weeks. We show big support to the Down Low and Karen and Kyle for hosting us, and already looking at menu changes and staffing changes and really getting ready to turn this into a good thing. So this is the vision. Want to create something that can be done yearly, that is Chico breaks the record. This year, Chico Strikes Back. Next year, I don't know, Return of the Music, I don't know. But work with me on this, and hope, you know, try to see the bigger vision than necessarily the gig that's right in front of us. What we can establish, the name we can make for Chico and each of these acts. You know, my goal is to have thousands of people all over the country this time focused on that online stream and seeing all of us, you know, do our best. So a couple things, loose ends. Yes, we're going to work out payment somehow. However, we're going to have a 4-hour limit to sets. When we had a month to fill, that was a different story, whatever. Of course, a lot of you know, maybe I did a 12-hour set myself. So coming from me, I'm even going to say, pull it back, 4-hour sets. We're going to start by giving every act their shot. And then just like last time, as things get closer, we'll start signing people up for second sets. You know, and if you got another act, you know, you can certainly sign up a different act if it's not the same, you know, but let's just, you know, try to give everybody a chance to get in the door. And that having been said, it's not going to be as much a come one, come all as the tackle box was. Okay, so bring your A game. You got 2 months. 2 months to turn that half-hour set, power set, into an hour power set. Add some songs you like. Write some new stuff. Get creative. Make a band. Say you want to play a thing, you don't have a band. You got 2 months. I don't have a band really right now. I got a bassist and a drummer I'm talking to, but you know, you got 2 months. So bring something clean and strong, because everybody's going to be watching, because the clock is going to be running. There can be no room for error this time, because we're only going 16 days. We can't restart a clock. We can't hope that was okay. We can't let some of the band go take a bathroom break and then come back up on stage because they saw somebody else do it. Like, this has got to be different and more mature, more professional, and ultimately more successful for the musicians and for the community as a whole, because if we can do it in a more organized and collaborative fashion, then it just gets easier from here on out, and Chico remains the expert, but maybe inspires other communities to do it again. AJ, when I first called AJ and told him what we were going to try to do with a 35-day attempt, he told me he'd been waiting years for this phone call. And the reason he'd kept breaking the record every year at a certain time, March I believe it was for him, with his assembly line concerts, was he was hoping to instigate a battle with another community. Like a real, everybody wins. You battle, me battle, we battle. And so when I called him and said what we were trying to do, he's like, this is great. This is what I've been trying to make happen. And that having been said, my understanding is they are doing one in the spring of 2017. That's like a big farmers market deal in the Detroit area, where they're going to have several stages and a big music festival, and they're going to try to break the record then. So this is something we need to be able to defend. Oh, one more thing. I thought I'd jump over to the playground here to talk about, since it has to do with playing. Last time there was a kibosh on pre-recorded music and things that didn't carry melody, and no jamming if it could be helped, and all of that, based on our basic understanding of the Guinness rules. And I'm going to say that this time, since we're going to in the long term post and upload our video footage and paperwork to the interwebs as a permanent source, so people can come check our work, even no matter what Guinness says, people can come check our work and see we were right and they're wrong. Since we're doing that and we're going through all that, I'm going to throw genre-based rules that Guinness may provide just right out the window. And honestly, if that means that they're going to disapprove of us again, fine. Last year I had to say no to East Wind Belly Dance, Wolf Thump, Resonators, Hemp C. Hap Hathaway worked a 24-hour set at the soundboard, but as per rules of Guinness, he could only kind of jump up and rap if there was a band behind him, kinda, and no turntables were allowed, and that's his biz, So, just trying to think of everybody. We're not gonna, there'll be no walls up for genre this time, even though Guinness seems to require them. And one of the reasons we're not as attached to what they say, besides establishing ourselves as the authority, is we are also in touch with recordsetter.com, World Record Academy, and World Record Association. Some of these look more like pay-to-play scenarios, where give us the money and show us some newspaper clippings and some video, and we'll be like, you got it. But then there's some other middle-of-the-line ones. The one I particularly like is Record Setter. They're great. You just upload the video footage, and there you go. Done deal. I haven't quite figured out what the price of all that is yet, but that's the simplest thing I could think of. And they have Record Setter Music, Record Setter Sports, Record Setter blah blah blah. They wear yellow jackets. They're hip, and they use technology at any opportunity to establish evidence for something. So right now they look like the easy certification. So things are different, but I just want to throw out there that people will be asking that. All genres this time. Just be good. Louis Armstrong said it. Duke Ellington said it. Everybody said it. There's two kinds of music: good music and bad music. Be good music. Be professional. Be responsible. Know that 12 a.m. means that date. 12 a.m. That midnight is when that switches over. Don't show up a day early or a day late. Take responsibility for your set, your professionalism. Who knows who could be watching when you're performing? This could be the place where 3 of our town sweethearts get discovered. And I'm talking to you fellas, your sweethearts. All right. So enough of me rambling. That's pretty much the plan. April 1st, down low. We're gonna do this one at a heightened level. We're growing. We're stronger than ever before. and we're far more likely to succeed in our endeavors than it felt like this time last year. So thanks, Chico. Thanks for trusting me. That's important to me from the insides. And you know, for being willing to at times follow my crazy meandering path. But this past year has been the best year of my entire life, no question. And this coming year is going to be the new best year of my entire life. And I have you guys to thank for that. So the reason I'm standing out here in the sun and in the wind is to give you an example of why we're doing this and what can be done. I could think of nothing better than the garden here at Oakway Park, and I'm just going to give you guys a look real quick. This was just a, you know, patch of grass like a year and some change ago, maybe 2, and a lot of community members got together and made this happen. And now, yeah, can you go down to the farmer's market and, you know, or S&S or whatever, Chico Natty, and get some tomatoes? And is it cheaper than breaking your back, particularly that first year in a garden? Yeah, you can do that. And the first year is always going to cost the most. I've done a dozen gardens in my life, and then I move. Great. So you spend all this money and effort, and you don't get to reap the rewards that come year after year. The hard part's already done. And I know I keep saying that to inspire more enthusiasm for these kind of projects, but it's true. The hard part's already done. We've already done, you know, an enormous thing that we can be proud of for the rest of our lives. And me personally, it's brought my own purpose to the fore and within myself, and so, you know, I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life because of the event, and it feels really good. So wouldn't it be a shame if nobody came out and tended this garden next year, or nobody came out this year after all the hard work's already been done? And the rewards are increased with every season. So, silly analogy, but it's one that feels right to me. We've planted some seeds. Our garden is growing. Let's do it again and show the entire world what Chico's got. All right, bye.